In this video, we're going to be slowly creating something that looks like this, a total eclipse of the heart, and working with different aspects such as blending for this video. We'll break it apart into different series so we can work with the different elements and tools that Photoshop has for beginners. So let's get started. First, we're going to create the background, these two space images, by blending them together, and then slowly adding in the moon. So I'm going to pull up this image, which is big space, and I'm going to pull in this image. And how I can do that is I'm going to come over here to background, double click to unlock, and then just click and drag over. Now I'm making sure that I'm on my move tool, hotkey V. I'm going to click and drag it, and I still have my finger on my mouse. I'm going to release. So this doesn't fill up the whole space like I'd like it to. So what I'm going to do Command T, which is free transform, holding down Shift to keep it in proportion and making it bigger. And hitting Enter to make sure it's released from the editing process. You can also go to Edit, Transform, to get different ways that you can rotate it, and also free transform is right here as well. And I always like to label my layers this way, in case you ever have to give the file to a partner or a group, they know what's happening. So you can just name this space 1 and background space. And all I did to name that was double click on that blue and type on in. So with this, I don't want to erase this layer or harm it in any way. So we're going to use blending to edit it and make it look like it's sort of disappearing. So what I want to do is come down here, and these are different effects. This is a new layer, this is trash. And what I want to do is come over here to the create fill or adjustment layer. Oh, I don't want to do that now. What I want to do, I want to come over here to the add layer mask. And so this is where I'm going to be doing my editing. And I'm only going to be working with the black and white color mode, which is already preloaded in Photoshop. So, and remember from previous videos perhaps that you can toggle back and forth by using these keys. So easy to do. And let's remember this, white will add the image or the object back in, black will take it away, but not really taking it away like an erase tool would. So what I'm going to do is I have my black in my 4-color, and then I'm going to find my gradient. And the gradient is usually hidden under the paint bucket tool in Photoshop. And I see up here, because it's loaded down here in this section, up here in this menu bar, you have all these gradient options that you can play around with, but for this, we want to work with the black to white, and so we want to make sure that's selected. There's other ways you can work with this too to experiment with that, but I'm just going to go classical. And so let's try it out. And so all I did here to make that work is I clicked and dragged to whatever location I wanted to, and that's a really nice blend, I think. Now I'm just going to do Command Z backwards, and I'm just going to try it from this way. Okay, so you can see there's a harsh edge here. I could try that too, and you can go little baby steps. It's really what you want it to be until you get that blend that you really like. So you can try from many different options and ways. But the main thing is to make it look like it's sort of continuously flowing with each other. So I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to keep with that. So that looks like a nice background already. So it's a little bit different from this one. I most likely rotated that one before. So this was at the bottom, and that's okay. It could be a little bit different. So now we're going to bring that moon in. And if we look here, I have my back solar or my backspace. I have my moon, and I have my top solar or space 1. And again, these are the adjustment layers in which I did that. So let's bring in the moon. So I'm going to come here, and I put all my extra images down here. And all I have to do to add this back up here for easier editing is click and drag that. And once it's highlighted in blue, it will come back up. So I'm actually going to take out space 1 because I'm officially done with it. And I'm going to work off with my moon now and add it in here. So I unlocked my layer. I'm going to move this over. Make sure to label it by just clicking. There we go. And then Command T or Edit Free Transform. Maybe slightly big, so clicking and dragging that back in. There we go. Going over to my gradient. Oops. So that's a good mistake to make. And what did I forget? I forgot my adjustment layer. So I'm going to do Command Z, go back, add my adjustment layer, make sure I'm on my adjustment layer. There we go. I think that's looking good. Now if I wanted to bring some of that back, there we go. I'll bring it almost back to full, but I'm going to toggle that again, which is actually X on your keyboard. That's the hotkey for toggling. And there you go. That's one way that you can work with adjustment layers, the black and white coloring, and also with your gradient, which remember is usually located under your paint bucket tool. And that's how you can blend images together to make it look like an endless flow. And another popular method to blending is using the paintbrush tool. So again, I'm going to grab my moon, bring it over, Free Transform, Command T, or Edit Free Transform, holding down Shift, making my image bigger, moving it that way. And with the paintbrush, it gives you a little bit more control than the gradient tool, though I prefer the gradient tool just because it gives you that really natural understanding of blending. But let's try the paintbrush. Again, we're not really painting on there. We're using an adjustment layer, making sure this is highlighted in white. And then we're going to go to our paintbrush. Again, black and white. And up here we have different choices. Now I have probably different choices than you do because I have uploaded brushes that I've downloaded from the internet. Great sources that they have on there. So you can get smoke and snowflakes and different things like that. But I'm going to do a soft round. I think soft is better than hard sometimes with blending. And I can make it a little bit harder, or I can make it bigger or smaller as well. These are all free to play with. Different effects there. Also a hotkey is that your bracket keys, the right bracket will make the brush bigger. The left bracket will make it smaller. Those are really helpful hotkeys for when you want to quicken up your time. So you can see here I have a lot more control. And I can really get in there and get close to the moon. And then you can always do this and then add a gradient on top. And they can work together like that. I just did Command Z. So let me show you this too. This is 100% opacity working with this. So maybe I can get here and I'm like, okay, well, I want to see the moon still. I don't want it to go all the way away. So you can lower your opacity there and you can get a really nice blend between the two where you can see both of them. And the more you stop and click, the more that opacity is going to work on top of itself. So this might be 35% here because I just did one pass over, where this I did it 3 or 4 times, so it's going to add on to that. But that can be a really nice understanding as well with blending. So again, gradient usually under the paint bucket and brush. The biggest thing here, remember, is always use your adjustment layer, which is located down here, and make sure this is highlighted. If not, you will be painting right on top of here. So let me show you that. that's at 35%, and this is at 100. And there you go.